Now, I wish that YouTube would do a 3, 2, 1, you are live, as opposed to the you're live. Anyways, hello, welcome, Minnesota Fighting Vikings fans. Hello, Jerome's. It is Tuesday. I decided to do an impromptu Tuesday evening live stream because we're cranking out content as we are wont to do, and I'm glad that the Jeromes have come along off season because there really is no off season with the NFL, and we're cruising right along because it's already a Senior Bowl. Yeah, Senior Bowl is going on. Also, the stupid Super Bowl, not with the Vikings in it, is going to be going on as well. Great. And then, guess what? You have the NFL Combine, then you have Pro Days, then you have free agency, then you have the draft, and then it all starts over again. So that's something that I really like about the NFL is that even the off-season parts of it are more exciting to me than like baseball or basketball or hockey. I digress there. Anyways, if you have questions or comments, let them be known in the live stream, live chat. So do that up. See here, a couple things we want to go over. So so the Antonio Brown thing just gets really sad, more and more sad by the day. Where I mean, obviously the dude has issues. Obviously he just continually gets himself in trouble, and I actually think that this is less of a football thing anymore. Just a dude who's out there as a actual threat to himself, to others, and there's just a huge pattern of behavior where now it's Antonio Brown is a suspect in battery of the driver of a moving truck, which just eye roll, whatever. I don't think that he's going to be back in the NFL anytime soon, but then again, he almost signed with the Saints, which wouldn't have helped against the Vikings, by the way, because smack. That's right. Also, so the Vikings and the Pro Bowls, which is hilarious to me. Xavier Rhodes getting in as like the 17th alternate cornerback, which is just great, as well as let's see what else here. So the Vikings got Kirk Cousins in place of Aaron Rodgers, which should have been the first place. Also, why is it so hard? All right, C.J. Ham gets in for Kyle Juszczyk. Everson in for Joey Bosa. Eric Kendricks finally gets in for Bobby Wagner, who's skipping the game, which fine. Also, is Kuechly playing in the Pro Bowl? I don't think he is because he's retiring, right? So anyways, Kendrick should have been in the first place. So that's it. They joined Dalvin Cook, Daniil, and Harrison Smith. So 8 Vikings in the Pro Bowl. The Xavier run is just freaking hilarious to me because any metric you want, just black and white stats or PFF grades, analytics, or just the eyeball test, he was god-awful this year. He was absolutely atrocious, and it's just exhibit number 75A why people shouldn't be allowed to vote on anything, including players and coaches, by the way. So it's just shameful. All right, so a bunch of comments in the live chat. The question is, why is Mahomes in a Vikings jersey? Because we put that as the thumbnail, and I went down this rabbit hole of I have one of my favorite conspiracy theories is, well, not conspiracy theories, but one of the biggest what ifs in Vikings history is, what if Taylor Heineke never kicked that door? So Taylor Heineke, as some of you may or may not know, was a UDFA out of Old Dominion. Scott Turner really loved him. Actually, both Turners really liked him as a backup quarterback and was really coming along, and probably would have been Teddy's backup quarterback in 2016 if he didn't, kick a glass door on the eve of training camp, essentially. Which, the circumstances of that, was he just trying to help a friend open the door? Was there some beverages involved? I don't know. There's a lot of things going on, especially that time of day which it happened, but I digress. So if that hadn't happened, I think Taylor Heineke would have eventually beat out Sean Hill and would have been Teddy's backup quarterback in 2016. And of course, we know what happened with Teddy's knee on the third week of preseason. Teddy's leg consciously uncouples from his body, and then the Vikings end up trading for Sam Bradford, which, it's a huge gamble. First and a conditional fourth for another team starting quarterback before the start of the season. And the Vikings end up going 8-8 that year. A lot of various issues going on with that team. And then the Vikings ended up picking 14th overall. They had to send that pick to Philadelphia, and they used that pick on Derek Barnett, the defensive end from Tennessee. And then Derek Barnett, by the way, was the one who strip sacked Case Keenum when the Vikings were marching in the red zone when they were down 14-7 against the Eagles. I don't have any pencils. I wish I could snap one. I only have pens. Doesn't have the same effect. But say the Vikings would have held on to their first round pick. And under Taylor Heineke, they turned to him. They're like, okay, maybe he's going to be Kurt Warner. Maybe he's going to spin this thing up. You never know. But I actually think under Heineke, the Vikings probably would have gone like 6-10, which would have put the Vikings in around the pick. Actually, let's look that up. Wiki 2017 NFL draft. Yeah, it's happening. 2017 NFL draft, the order. All right, so it doesn't list the records, but would have put the Vikings around pick 10, roughly. And guess who went pick 10 overall in the 2017 NFL draft? Pat Mahomes. Yeah. And it would have made a lot of sense. Vikings would have been in the market for a quarterback. Pat Mahomes. Oh, we got the local ties. Pat Mahomes Sr., a fantastic relief pitcher for the Twins back in the day. And then also, I mean, Pat Mahomes would have done amazing in like Norv's Air Coryell scheme. And just chuck it. Air raid, baby. Let's go. So the Vikings would have been at 10. And the Chiefs, they ended up trading up to Buffalo, who Buffalo had number 10 overall pick, or the Vikings go to Deshaun Watson there. So that's my entire conspiracy theory, is that essentially Taylor Heineke kicking the door made the Vikings lose out on Pat Mahomes, which and for me, for the Super Bowl, I'm gonna root for the Chiefs. Because also screw the Niners and Chiefs, Vikings. We do have some history back in the day. Super Bowl IV. Hank Stram. Hey, Leonard, keep matriculating the ball down the field and all that other stuff. Still annoys me. Some of my Chinese fire drill out here. But the Chiefs kicked the Vikings' ass. The Vikings were 16-point favorites, and then they lost 23-7. I think was the final score. But I'm rooting for the Chiefs. Some of you may know on the channel, like my uncle played for the Chiefs back in the day. He was a backup for Len Dawson, Dean Carlson. He played one game. It was against the Vikings. It did not fare well. In fact, I could pull it up on PFR. Should I be a dick and do it? Yeah, I'm going to do it. Because it's actually kind of a funny story. All right, so Dean Carlson. Pulling that up. All right. So can I move my face off screen? Nope, that didn't do it. Sorry, I'm new to this whole OBS thing. I'm not quite the streamer as, like, say, Ninja or something. Something like that. There we go. All right, so here's my uncle's only box score. So he played one game, was 7-15 for 116 yards, which is not great. He threw a pick and was sacked twice. Actually, let's pull up that box score. I'm pretty sure he was sacked by Carl Eller, which is pretty sweet. Although, do they technically keep stats back then? All right, so the Vikings won 35-15. So, woo, skull. It was at Arrowhead. Hank Stram against Bug Rank, getting it back on again, 74. All right, so, Jan Stanerud is out here doing work. All right, so the Vikings, it was Fran Tarkenton as well as something called Bob Berry, sure. Oscar Reed and Mariano, Boom Boom Bill Brown. Leading receiver was Sam McCullum, sure. And then Len Dawson played a little bit. Then my uncle came in. And then also running back Cleo Miller, sure. The legendary Larry Brunson, losing 11 yards on a rush. All right, so defensively, Jeff Simeon, you had Wally Hillenberg, picked my uncle off twice, no big deal. Emmett Thomas had a pick six to the house. Hell yeah. Except for he was for the other team. Fred Cox was on the Vikings back in the day. It was good stuff. All right. So, yeah, that was my uncle's box score. Did not fare well. They didn't keep sacks as an official stat back then or something like that. There you go. Zoom back out. There you go. We're bringing this thing out. But, yeah, I'm rooting for the Chiefs. I think Andy Reid has been long overdue. I think he's extremely underrated head coach, and I think it's their time. Also, what Pat Mahomes could do in year 3, where first 3 years, you've already won the MVP, and you've already won a Super Bowl. I mean, that's a hell of a start. It's just really amazing. Let's see here. Into the chat. Also, if you want your chat recognized, Super Chat, get all up in that. Adderley Hoag, Winfield Jr. Is a steal defensive back. Yeah, I don't really have a good feel for where Winfield Jr. is going to go, and if he's a day 2 pick, certainly would be on board with that. And also, I think that the fact that he can play safety, he can play some slot cornerback, certainly adds to his value. And also, if the Vikings don't retain Mackenzie Alexander, which I think they should, but if they don't, I mean, Winfield Jr. would be a natural fit here, not just because his dad played here, not just because he was a gopher, just because he's a very quality player. Let's see what else here. Hope Uncle isn't watching. Yeah, I don't think he can work technology. Actually, crap, he might be able to. I don't really know. Let's see here. Gene Logan, draft Jordan Love. I'm really intrigued by Jordan Love. And, yeah, he had a really disappointing final season at Utah State. Just didn't really have the cast around him. But the fact that he's that size, he's got solid arm strength and the athleticism, I think it's just a lot of really raw tools where it's not the level of, say, like a Josh Allen. I think Jordan Love has better accuracy than Allen did coming out. But you see that Josh Allen, for all of his faults, is starting to come together with the Bills, where a lot of his strengths is covering up a lot of his faults. I mean, he still airmails easy passes, but that arm strength is undeniable, and I think it is pretty legit. Actually, that's Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft. Actually, I don't want to pull that up. Nah, that's kind of boring. Oh, so the draft in Vegas, where they're having the red carpet on the Fountains of Bellagio, and then they're having like the main event over in the Caesars Forum shops. I think it's gonna be really cool. I think it's gonna be sweet. And originally I wasn't really for moving the draft around because where's the draft been? Has it been Philly and Chicago? NFL draft locations since they started moving it from New York City, which for me, Radio City Music Hall is still like legit. It still just brings back great memories. Venues. Here you go. NFL venues. All right, so it's from Chicago and blah, blah, blah. I wish this was linear. All right, so 2014 was the last year in New York City. 2015... Why can't you just be in order, man? All right, so 2015 was whatever, and then 2015, 16 was in Chicago for 2 years. Then it went to Philadelphia 2017, went to Dallas 2018. This year, Las Vegas. Oh, I know. 2019, Nashville. Nashville was pretty good. Then 2020, Las Vegas. 2021, it's in Cleveland for some reason. 2022 is TBD, looks like. Then 2023 is in Kansas City, tentatively. I mean, sure. 2020 Paradise, 2020 Cleveland. They haven't made 2022 yet. Or it is neat moving around, but there's just something about Vegas where you're gonna be fired up about it's in the middle of the strip. They're gonna be closing down the highways and the entire strip, and it's just gonna be like the Bellagio to Caesars, and then across the street to the Link in Paris and whatnot. It's gonna be all encompassing, which is gonna be pretty sweet. But I mean, Nashville, don't get me wrong, did a phenomenal job last year. But who's excited about Cleveland? Who is excited about Dallas, by the way? I mean, Dallas kind of sucks. And also, I mean, Kansas City, I mean, fantastic barbecue. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. But I think the draft should be a number of locations. So it'll be Vegas. It should be New York City. And it should be Branson, Missouri. And those are the three. Those are the three. Also, Branson deserves an NFL team. Actually, is Branson near the Ozarks? Has anyone watched Ozark? The show on Netflix, starring Jason Bateman. Yeah, it's just a phenomenal show. Where if you've been looking for a show to just sort of wean you off Breaking Bad, which I was looking for back in the day, I hadn't really found it yet until Ozark came along. And there's just something about like the straight-laced dude just getting into bad things, which I think it strikes a chord with a lot of people because a lot of people are that straight-laced. Middle management, $50K a year and a Prius gold watch, 9 to 5, 2-hour commute, sort of white bread, white toast, white milk, sort of jabroni. And they're just dreaming about, maybe I can start laundering money for the cartel or cooking meth. Yeah, all that stuff. So watch Ozark. Oh, So TV recommendations. I go through spurts when it comes to TV. Like I get really into something, or I'm just completely not in at all. So football season is really easy to not be into things. But since the Vikings got knocked out, and since we went to LA last week, I had a lot of travel time. I had some downtime as well. I watched the Aaron Hernandez documentary, which was phenomenal. But I feel like they tried to excuse him too much, you know. But it was intriguing to get some insight, because I mean Aaron Hernandez, like even when he was playing, you're just like, all right, went to Florida, got the tats, kind of a thug, kind of a problem child, and then it's like, oh, he murdered 3 people. It's crazy. And then so that led into I originally watched the FX, the People versus O.J. Simpson. I thought it was phenomenal. I'm a big fan of the American Horror Story / American Crime Story, like anthology franchises. I think they do a great job there. I'm looking forward to the next American Crime Story is going to be about Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. Like Clive Owen, like the British dude, is going to be Bill Clinton. All right. There's a fine line between Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, by the way. Yeah. So I rewatched that on the plane, and that's phenomenal. I mean, that's just extremely well done. I've actually rewatched it again since I've been home. It's just mesmerizing how good it was. And yes, it is completely dramatized and really, cranked up to 11, but it's great. As well as the ESPN OJ Made in America. I've rewatched that twice through already, where the American attention span is either 6 seconds or it's 6 hours. There's really no in between, and I fully believe in that. All right, so give me some TV recommendations. Throw them in the chat. Let's see what else is good. I rewatched all the Chappelle show episodes, as well as all the Chappelle stand-ups. Those are great. Man, it goes a lot when you watch some older television, and then you think, man, they really can't do that. They could not make that today. And then you think about, why couldn't they make that? I mean, it's obviously good. I mean, it's good product, but whatever. It is what it is. All right. So in the chat as well, why don't you give me your free agent target du jour that you want to see for the Vikings, as well as draft target. Do whatever. All right, Jared Lewis, $2 in the super chat. You're on the clock, first round. Who are you taking? Well, it's tough. All right, so let me bring up the Jeremiah mock draft. Jeremiah, there you go. All right, so are we gonna do picture in picture again? I think you may as well. Come along and ride on the fantastic voyage. Super style. Do. One day it's just gonna be hardcore pornography, right there. Also, hey, look up. I don't know if you guys are poker fans, but look up Phil Hellmuth with Livestream fail. All right, because he had his phone and he was like live streaming, playing open face Chinese, and then something flashed. All right, so going through this Daniel Jeremiah mock draft. So Joe Burrow, number 1 to the Bengals. I mean, this seems like a no-brainer, but also I don't trust the Bengals like at all. And the whole talk now is like, well, we don't know if we decided we're going to take Joe Burrow, the best quarterback option. I don't know. Yeah, I know you're trying to drum up just to see what someone will offer you for him, but please, child, please. Number 2, Chase Young to Washington, where essentially this is the Nick Bosa pick. And yeah, it's not just because they went to the same school. Chase Young is a legit day one disruptor, and I think he's going to do great things wherever he lands. Ron Rivera, I hope he turns around Washington, not for Daniel Snyder, but because I do believe in Ron Rivera. I believe in Dwayne Haskins. 3 of the Lions, fortunately, get Jeff Okudah, which this could be great because if they get Okudah, they could cut Big Play Slay, and the Vikings late in free agents could be like, give it to me, baby. Cap is a myth. Next up for the Giants, Mekhi Becton, the tackle from Louisville, which would be great. And maybe they cut Nate Solder. I don't really know. It's possible. 5, Tua goes to the Dolphins. 6, Jedrick Wills, tackle from Alabama, who I really like. He goes to the Chargers. 7, Derek Brown, did tackle from Auburn, which would be nice, except I think he's going to easily go top 10. Number 8, Tristan Dwarfs. So Jeremiah DJ has Wirfs listed as a guard, even though I think he certainly could play tackle in the NFL. Yeah, that's what he played at Iowa. But, I mean, if the Vikings landed him, I would certainly be down. Oh, come on, where are you going? Certainly be down to clown if he was going to stay at right tackle and then potentially move Brian O'Neill to left tackle. So there you go. Number 9, Isaiah Simmons, the safety out of Clemson. Clemson defensive backs, low-key DBU, by the way. Number 10, Andrew Thomas, tackle from Georgia. Of course, we talked about our love affair for him. And, if he ends up dropping to around 10, Vikings at 25. All in. Number 11, Chasian from LSU, did well in the national title game, blah, blah, blah. Number 12, C.D. Lamb from Oklahoma, just a speedster. He's basically Hollywood Brown, except better. C.D. Lamb there. 13, this is a little bit of a surprise. So Jordan Love, the quarterback of Utah State, a little bit early. But of course, DJ is obviously going to be a lot more dialed in than your average your draft jabroni. Like, I honestly think Jordan Love could probably be a second round pick, maybe early day too. So I think the Vikings could pounce on him there. But if he goes first round, if he tests well, if he interviews well, I could see it, I guess. 14, Justin Herbert, who, by the way, Justin Herbert may have been the number 1 overall pick if he came out last year. Decided to come back for another year at Oregon and precipitously fall. I think he's just too inconsistent. Like, yeah, he led the Ducks back to the Rose Bowl, which is great. But just a lot of inconsistencies in his game. And if he went to Tampa and BA, I mean, it's a match made in heaven. 15, Jerry Jeudy out of Bama. So Jerry Jeudy and Noah Fant and Cortland Sutton. Woo! It's actually pretty legit. 16, AJ Espenza, the edge rusher from Iowa. Cool. 17, the Cowboys pick up safety Xavier McKinney from Bama. 18, this is like an all SEC and Iowa draft. Number 18, the Dolphins they already got 2, remember. They pick up DeAndre Swift, the running back from Georgia. Be a nice little compliment there with the Dolphins. 19, Patrick Queen, the stud linebacker from LSU. 20, C.J. Henderson, the cornerback from Florida. Not really familiar with him. Need to do a little bit of digging on him. 21, Eagles, the other wide receiver from Bama. Henry Ruggs III goes to Philly, where, I mean, they need some help in that receiving core. 22, T. Higgins, the wide receiver from Clemson. Stud. 23, the Patriots. It's weird having the Patriots draft in front of the Vikings, like, naturally. Grant Delpit, safety from LSU. Again, this is like an all SEC draft. 24, Justin Jefferson, wide receiver. Oh, from LSU. Weird. And then 25, get to the Vikings, Javon Kinlaw, the D-tackle from South Carolina. Did a video on him, and if you watch any South Carolina football, like, number 3 will snap out of the frame right away. Like, he's just an amazing physical freak, like, long arms, 6'6", he's 310, and he just, I mean, he doesn't really look like a D tackle. Like, he actually looks like Jason Pierre-Paul, or he looks like a thicker Daniil Hunter, which, I mean, just getting Andre Patterson and Robert Rodriguez pause on him to develop him, I mean, just, it's really interesting. 26. So I would have been fine if the Vikings would have took Austin Jackson, tackle from USC. And yeah, I know. The last tackle he took from USC is bad, but please, please, scout the player, not the helmet. Never the helmet. And yeah, Matt Khalil bombed out in 2012. Who wouldn't have been excited about Chuma Adaga last year in the mid rounds? Who wouldn't have been? Huh? I would have been. You would have been. Everyone would have been. So you get out of here. All right. Next up. The Seahawks take Ross Blaylock from TCU. Hey, finally, non-SEC guy. 28, Kenneth Murray, the linebacker from Oklahoma. 29, Marlon Davidson, the edge rusher from Auburn. The stupid Packers take the Colorado receiver Laviska Shenault. Zach Brown and A.J. Terrell. Boring. So 4 quarterbacks end up going. And it was, all right, so Burrow goes 1, Tua 5 to the Dolphins. And then it went Jordan Love 13 to the Colts, which TBD what happens to the Colts. And then 14, Justin Herbert there in Tampa. Now, this is all obviously all going to change, especially after free agency, and it's going to be a really intriguing free agency, just because of there's going to be some big quarterback pieces moving, and Drew Brees could be a free agent if he wants to continue his career, as well as Tom Brady. You look at Phillip Rivers, Ryan Tannehill, Marcus Mariota, of course. Hey Teddy, that's right. So you look at these teams that need quarterbacks. I think that the Bengals are going to be fully dug in on Joe Burrow. Now the Dolphins are intriguing to me because Teddy could have gone to the Dolphins last offseason. They did offer him a contract before he ultimately went to the Jets, and they could have been like, I think Teddy skipped out on going to his hometown team because he saw what mess that they were going to be, and they were a mess, even though they really got it together towards the end. I think Brian Flores is going to be running a great program there, and maybe Teddy this time around looks at Miami is like, okay, I believe in what Brian Flores is going to be doing here, so now I'm going to be in. And maybe he inks up to play for his hometown Dolphins. Or, I mean, that could be a spot where I think maybe they go rookie. They just grab whoever at 5. Maybe they make a play, trade up for Burrows, because I think they're actually fine with Ryan Fitztragic for one more year, and then just let the rookie sit and do whatever. And then, so if Phillip Rivers leaves, the Chargers will obviously be in the market for a quarterback, so that'd be interesting. And then also, if Tom Brady leaves, I mean, do they really believe in Danny Etling that much? I mean, he's a rookie 7th-round pick from last year. Like, really all in on that? Probably not. So they could be maneuvering around for a quarterback, or Teddy goes to the Patriots and then wins like 9 Super Bowls. That's exactly what happens. And, of course, the Colts, I don't know if they're really all in on Brissett. I could see them bringing in Rivers or even Brady or Turner. There we go. Or what if the Colts just plucked Tannehill from the Titans just as an intra-division just rivalry? It's like, oh, no, you stole Ryan Tannehill from us. And then in Tampa, like even though Jameis threw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns and 30 picks, I don't think that BA is necessarily married to him. So is this a spot where Phillip Rivers goes for a year? Or Tom Brady goes to Tampa for a year under BA? Doesn't quite have the arm to run the no risk it, no biscuit offense, but either way, it's a little bit intriguing to me. All right. So I love the offseason, man. All these moving parts, all these things as I adjust my stupid screen. Hot stove football. There you go. All right, so back to the live stream chat. Sorry, guys. I like going on tangents. So, Nico Wadsworth, the Netflix show You is fun to watch. I've heard that from a lot of people, except I don't really get into like that creepy like serial killer niche. Like, the entire serial killer genre. It's not really my thing, even though like basically every chick with a Netflix account is. That's not really my thing. Let's hear. And the stuff is good. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm fully in on the Vikings signing Marcus Mariota as a backup because I think that the Vikings do need to plan for potentially life after Kirk Cousins. I think Mariota could greatly benefit from a change of scenery. Mariota also has a better #QB wins win-loss record than Kirk Cousins, by the way. And I just think that his talent was really squandered in Tennessee. Just a number of bad offensive coordinators and also some inconsistent play on his part. But he did see some flashes. And, I mean, he was the former number 2 overall pick. He's obviously going to get a couple opportunities. And I think that the Vikings could get the most out of him, especially like his mobility in a Gary Kubiak scheme. Shit. I mean, you saw what like Matt Schaub could do for a number of years with Gary Kubiak. Also, you go back to Jake Plummer with the Shanahan-Kubiak scheme. Same thing. Similar thing. All right, let's see what else here. Why is everyone fired up for Johnny Manziel? I may need to put you on timeout, man. Wiper Will says no tanking. Yeah, we actually have a video. Either it's out now or it's out tomorrow about how it's actually impossible to tank in the NFL, just because there's so many fail safes that stop you from tanking. But yeah, it is what it is. Levi Crack, I'd rather get HIV than sign Mariota. Well, oh man. That's a little much. That's a little far. But you must be a big Jameis fan. Or you must really hate Oregon. One of the two. Yeah. I'm just thinking like, so Cousins decides not to re-sign with the Vikings. He signs for like $40 million a year with the Raiders or whatever. And then all of a sudden, Marcus Mariota. And then you got rookie Jordan Love. Second-year quarterback Jordan Love just coming in. But Mariota's the starter right now. Him and Dalvin Cook run that read option. Ooh, you don't know who to tackle. I mean, just sexiness. I do like a mobile quarterback. Well, it doesn't have to be a pure running quarterback, right? Like Jerick McKinnon was a running quarterback. That wasn't going to work out. But just a guy who has the threat of running. I think that adds another dimension to the defense, as well as he can use the mobility. And if he just has an ounce of pocket awareness, which is 6 ounces more than Kirk Cousins has, he can use that mobility. He can really help out the offensive line. He can cover up a lot of ills, like a stinky cologne. And it's just, it is. It is what it is. All right. So that's it. That is the live stream. Thank you all for coming along. It was a great time. Just a bunch of rambling and meandering thoughts that we like to do and you know what to do. Anyways, subscribe, whatever. Want to support the work, Venmo. Also, hit that join button down below. Find out how you can become a monthly or platinum Jerome player, as well as social media. Give us a follow. But until next time, Skull, production value. End stream. Just can it say end stream?